expect the unexpected, right? Oh. Hello everyone, I hope that you're having a great day, great night, whatever time it is that you're watching this. It's me, Bryson P, and we have received yet another package. This one is from Norway. It's actually from Bergen, I believe. I received the message through Instagram a few weeks ago that this was going to be on its way, so I have been waiting on it. And it did make it all in one piece with no customs tape or anything like that where something was intercepted and removed from the package. So that's always a good thing. So let's get it open and take a look at what we got. There we go. I got a weird smell from something while I was doing this, and I just had to smell and see if it was coming from that. Oh, and that's what you meant by a hat. Beanie, or toboggan, or whatever you all would call it. You can call it a hat, it's still a hat. So let me go through right quick and tell you what is supposed to be in here. So number one, because this was what I was received, the message I received, I should say. So it says, of course, I'd forgotten to send a letter with the package. This is what's inside. Number one, a guidebook for your trip to Oslo. Number two, Flakleipa, the Pinchcliffe Grand Prix. Has been ranked the #1 best movie made in Norway by Norwegian film critics and by the public. It is the most widely seen Norwegian film of all time, having sold some 5.5 million tickets since its release. Norway only has a population of 5.3 million, so that gives you an example right there. The third thing that should be in here is Norwegian Folk Tales. It is a collection of Norwegian folk tales and legends by Asbjornsen Moe. It was first published in 1841 and has become a near and dear part of Norwegian people's childhood. Norwegian people's childhood. In the old days, these stories were told orally and were intended to either give a moral lesson or to scare children away from dangerous situations that might put them in harm's way. And then number four, the fourth thing that should be in this list is chocolate. And these are just some of your favorites because I'm sure that you've watched many of my videos and you've learned a lot of the stuff that I enjoy from the Scandinavian countries. Number five is a cheese slicer, or Ostehovel, Norway's proudest invention. We use it to cut slices of our iconic brown cheese, which is a staple in Norwegian cuisine. You definitely should try brown cheese when you come to Norway, preferably on a hot waffle or a freshly baked piece of bread right out of the oven. That does sound good. I've never heard of brown cheese though, so I'm not too familiar with that. The taste is really unique, but don't be fooled into trying gammelost or old cheese. The taste that will haunt you. Number six, the item number six that should be in this package is a butter knife made of wood. It makes life easier. Norwegians mainly use it for butter, but I guess it works wonders for all kinds of spreads. I'm actually very anxious and excited to receive a butter knife that is made of wood. I remember many months ago talking about or learning about wooden butter knives for butter. And that was one of the things that I've been kind of waiting on, and for someone to send me a true Scandinavian, I guess we could say, wooden butter knife. Number 7 is just a hat, because you seem to like hats. And then, of course, number 8 for the fun part. And I'm going to leave the fun part until we get to it. Here we go. Let's find out what we got. Ooh, this is cool. This is something I would definitely wear. I absolutely will wear that. Here, why don't we go ahead and put it on while we do this? Oh. So we've got the Oslo Pocket Guide. That should be the first thing that we talked about in our list of descriptions for my travels. Oh look, it has a map. It's got guides. This is actually going to be really interesting. I might really get a lot of use out of this here. Yeah, what to do, shopping, entertainment, sports, activities, children's activities, travel. Oh, look, just happened to turn it straight to the Royal Palace. This is one of the first pages that I opened it up to. That's just a random page, so I felt like wanting to show you that. I believe, doesn't the Royal Palace, they have, the palace sits atop a hill with a view down Oslo's main parade street. That's what I was going to say, because isn't that part of the parade for the 17th of May? Where they have the parade that goes by the palace? Should be correct on that, if I'm not mistaken. We've got the Freya Premium 70%. So does that mean that this is 70% coca? Let's see. Freya Premium. Okay, Carl, yep, another 70%. Mork chocolate. So does that mean dark chocolate, right? 70% dark chocolate? And if that's true, then I don't have it. I already ate it. But I had another chocolate bar recently that was 70% dark chocolate. So I'm all game for this, definitely. Absolutely. This one right here has been one of my favorites. We've had this a few times. You are correct. Now this I've not had. I've had Smash. I'm very familiar with what Smash is. But I've definitely not had a Smash Salt Caramel. So this will be very interesting. It looks and feels like the same size as a Snickers. But I know it's going to be way, way better than that. I'm going to set you to the side as well. Here is the videos right here. This is the Grand Prix movie that you were talking about. So, let's put it down here. Yeah. Alright, it's going to go here. I'm going to build a shelf for some of that stuff to go also with the Norwegian Folk Tales that I mentioned, right? Norwegian Folk Tales. So this one is the book that was originally first published in 1841. Interesting. The Boy Who Met the Trolls in the Hedal Woods. On a small farm in Vega in Gudbrandsdal, there once lived, in the old days, a poor couple. They had many children, and two of the sons, who were half grown, always had to wander about the countryside begging. So they were familiar with all of the roads and trails, and they also knew the shortcut to Hedal. One day, they wanted to go there, but they had heard that some falconers had built a hut at Mela, and they wanted to stop there too, to see the birds and how the men caught them. So they took the footpath over long moss, but it was already late in the fall, and the dairy maids had gone home from the summer pastures, and there was nowhere that the boys could find shelter, nor food either. So they had to keep to the road to Hedal. But that was only an overgrown cowpath, and when darkness came, they lost the path, nor did they find the falconer's hut either. And before they knew it, they were right in the midst of the thickest part of Bjølstad Forest. When they realized that they couldn't find their way out, they started cutting branches, made up a fire, and built themselves a shelter of pine branches, for they had a hatchet with them. And then they gathered heather and moss, which they made a bed. And while after they had lain down, they heard something snuffling and snorting very hard. The boys were all ears, and listened well to hear whether it might be an animal or a forest troll they had heard. But then it started snorting even harder, and said, I smell the smell of Christian blood here. Then they heard it tread so heavily that the earth shook under it, and they could tell that the trolls were out. God help us! What do we do now? Said the younger boy to his brother. Oh, we'll just have to stay under the fir tree where you're standing, and be ready to take the bags and run for your life when you see them coming. I'll take the hatchet, said the other. Just then they saw the trolls rushing, and they were so big and tall that their heads were level with the tops of the fir trees. But they had only one eye among the three of them, and they took turns using it. Each had a hole in its forehead to put it in, and guided it with its hands. The one who went ahead had to have it, and the others went behind him and held on to him. Take to your heels, said the elder of the boys, but don't run too far before you see how it goes. Along with a picture. Since they have the eye so high up, it'll be hard for them to see me when I come behind them. Well, the brother ran ahead with the trolls at his heels. In the meantime, the elder brother went behind them and chopped the hindmost troll in the ankle, so that he let out a horrible shriek. Then the first troll became so frightened that he jumped and dropped the eye, and the boy wasn't slow in grabbing it up. It was bigger than the two pot lids put together, and it was so clear that even though it was pitch black, the night became as light as day when he looked through it. When the trolls discovered that he had taken the eye from them and that he had wounded one of them, they started threatening him, and with all the evil there was, if he didn't give them back the eye that very minute. I'm not afraid of trolls or threats, said the boy. Now I have 3 eyes to myself, and you don't have any, and still 2 of you have to carry the 3rd. If we don't get our eye back this very minute, you'll be turned into sticks and stones, shrieked the trolls. But the boy felt there wasn't any hurry. He was afraid of neither boasting nor magic. He said, if he didn't leave them alone, he would chop at all 3 of them, so they would have to crawl along the hill like creeping, crawling worms. When the trolls heard this, they became frightened and started to sing another tune. They pleaded quite nicely that if he gave them back the eye, he would get both gold and silver, and everything he wanted. Well, the boy thought that was very fine, but he wanted the gold and silver first. Why wouldn't you? So he said that if one of them would go home and fetch so much gold and silver that he and his brother could fill their bags, and give him and his brother 2 good steel bows besides, they should get the eye. But until then, he would keep it. The trolls carried on and said that none of them could walk as long as he didn't have the eye to see with. But then one of them started yelling for the old woman, for they had one old woman among the 3 of them. After a while, there was an answer in a mountain far to the north. So the trolls said that she was to come with the 2 steel bows, and 2 pails full of gold and silver. It wasn't long before she was there. When she saw what had happened, she started threatening with magic. But the trolls became still more frightened and bade her to be careful of the little wasp. She couldn't be certain that he wouldn't take her eye too. So she flung the buckets and the gold and the silver and the bows at them, and strode home to the mountain with the trolls. And since then, no one has ever heard that the trolls have been about in the Hedal woods, sniffing after Christian blood. That's the end of that story. My intention was not to read a whole entire story, but it's just the way that some things happen on this channel. It's not always planned or scripted. It actually never is planned or scripted. It just goes the way that it goes. Here's our cheese and butter knife. This is very interesting. It looks kind of just like a wooden spatula. I would definitely have to use these and try these out for sure. And finally, we get to the last part of our package. Where's it at? Okay, number 8. Now for the fun part. Torrfisk, or dry fish, is exactly what the name suggests. It's dry fish. Or, to be more precise, it's unsalted fish, especially cod, dried by cold air and wind on wooden racks on the foreshore. The English name for it is stockfish, and this product accounted for most of Norway's trade income from the Viking Age throughout the medieval period. Nowadays, Norwegians mainly use stockfish for snacks or lutefisk, which we eat during Christmas time. It's super nutritious with 80% protein, vitamin B, iron, omega-3, calcium, in other words, a real Viking protein bar. Have a try if you'd like to. And of course I would like to. I wasn't sure how it was going to turn up, I guess you could say, because I didn't know it would be in a package like this. I didn't really know how it would be packaged or even what type of... I just didn't know what to expect. So I always try to expect the unexpected, right? Oh. Alright, well, as soon as I open that, I could definitely smell that. Yeah, long time no see. This ain't been in the sea for a long time. Okay, this is good until April 10th of 2023. And I'm recording this on April 9th of 2022, so it's still good for a whole nother year. And not that I'm acting like it's not good or anything like that. I'm just preparing myself for, you know, whatever. Okay, now that we've got used to the smell, so this is just straight up dried fish, right? Just straight up dried. Well, you already told me. It's unsalted dried cod on a wooden rack on the sea. It's very flaky. Alright. It definitely reconstitutes itself very well once you get a lot of moisture in it. I cannot take this to work. I will be sent home from work if I take this because of the smell. They will not like me if I bring this there. But it's not bad. I don't have any issue with it. I could eat this. I just wasn't expecting it to smell the way that it did, as pungent as soon as I opened the bag. So that was kind of just the thing to it. Like I say, you know, if it was something that I ate on a more regular basis and got more used to, it's just like anything else. You get more used to things where this is something that is common to you. But I got no problems with it. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. It was, like always, not planned or expected in any way. So I hope that you have a great day, great night, whatever time it is that you watch this. It's me, Bryson P. Goodbye.